Joining me right now for more analysis on all of these stories, American Majority CEO Ned Ryun and Democratic strategist John Rowley. Good to see both of you, Ned.
Thanks, Trish.
I'm guessing you don't put this past Susan Rice,
no.
Knowing her history of things, knowing the challenges that she put forward with Benghazi. Does this surprise you? And we don't know a whole lot of details, I should point out that, but we are getting reports that somehow she was behind this and she was the one who wanted these names out there.
No, this doesn't surprise me. You know, Trish, 3 weeks ago when I was on with you, when this story was first starting to break, I think ultimately at the end of the day, the questions are going to be, what did Obama know and when did he know it? So I'm not surprised that a senior White House official name came out today in regards to unmasking. The thing that's interesting, there are a couple of things that came out today, Trish, that I think are very telling. First of all, the media has been beating up on Congressman Nunes about why did he go to the White House campus? Well, it turns out he had to go to the White House campus to look at the NSC computers, to look at the logins of Susan Rice, to confirm for himself that it was, in fact, Susan Rice. The other thing that came out today that's deeply troubling about these reports that Susan Rice was asking for names to be unmasked on, that there was a lot of political intelligence in these reports about what the incoming Trump administration was going to do, what they were going to do in regards to foreign policy. And the thing that is, and again, we're going to find out what happens here, Trish, but if those raw intelligence reports somehow made that short walk over from the old executive across West Executive Avenue into the West Wing and got into the hands of some of the other senior White House officials, there's no telling where this ends up. But I think that we're looking at something, again, that the scandal here, if you want to call it that, it might be too soon to call that, is did the political party in power use and weaponize the state against the opposing party?
Wow.
And if they did, that is deeply, deeply troubling. And this is something
wild.
that both the
and
right
by the way,
and the
if
left should
that's
be
the
concerned
case,
with.
then it turns out his tweets that many on the left were just scoffing at, saying were completely irresponsible when he talked about the surveillance that he believed had been conducted on him, it would turn out then, Ned, he's right.
Well, and again, I would say those tweets were maybe a little inarticulate, but at the heart of it is, was there surveillance conducted on him and his team by the party in power? And this, to me, and again, Trish, we're going to see where this all plays out. But again, I've been tracking this pretty closely the last 3 weeks, and it's all playing out as I thought it would. This might, if these raw intelligence reports made their way across into the West Wing, they might look like Nixon and Plumbers were playing in Watergate. Were playing small ball. We'll see.
Give me a break.
All right, John, go ahead. What's your defense of Susan Rice?
I mean, this is classic attack the accuser as opposed to answer any charge. If Trump's team is colluding or at least talking to Russians all across the board, then they would have come into surveillance out of natural cause. Hold on a minute. I mean, and this to bring in that it maybe went over to the White House. A, we don't have it totally confirmed that Susan Rice did this. B, so what if they were colluding with all kinds of Russians? And C, there's absolutely zero evidence that this made it to the White House. So this is another instance of no explanation of why almost every major senior advisor to the president was talking with Russians during the context of the campaign.
John, I hear you in that we don't have a lot of concrete details right now, and that's what makes this story so frustrating for every journalist and every American out there right now. Just a lot of innuendo. But let me just add that this started from the left. I mean, way back during the campaign where they were making these kinds of leaks and they were suggesting this and they were suggesting that. They didn't have anything, but this was all suggested and out there in the atmosphere. Now you have a situation where it's not looking so good for the left.
This argument started
and now
with
you're
the
saying,
Democrats.
okay, it's all, hearsay. Go ahead.
It started with the media. They wanted to push this angle. And again, in many ways, in hopes of delegitimizing Trump and his team and the administration coming in. And I have said this, and I'll say it again, the Democrats and the left and the media should be very careful what they wish for, because at the end of the day, I don't think they're going to like what we will eventually uncover.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
John.
Trump and his team are busy delegitimizing themselves as all of this has come into focus. And what media are you talking about? You're talking about Breitbart News, the source of about every defense that the president has put forward?
John, hang on. Remember what network you are on, sir. This is Fox News reporting that sources are telling our own Adam Housley that it was Susan Rice.
And Bloomberg
all right,
is
so
also
let's just be clear. This is our network that is out there saying that sources are telling us that Susan Rice wanted these names unmasked. Let me turn to another big story right now, and that's Neil Gorsuch. We are waiting right now on Senate confirmation for him, but we may be waiting for quite some time because the Democrats are insisting that they'll move forward with a filibuster, leaving the Republicans with no option other than the nuclear one, which would guarantee he gets through, but maybe cause some unpleasantness. Why is it? Because I think from a political perspective, John, you know, the Democrats are missing out on this one. I do think that Americans want stuff done, and they want Washington to move forward. Why is it that they are just refusing, as they are, to get on board here and just move forward with business as usual?
Well, the president and Mitch McConnell had given them no reason to. The president has essentially flipped the bird to the Democrats every step of the way, including no reach out during the health care bill process. And as it's coming back from the dead, no reach out again. Mitch McConnell, in an unprecedented move that he's even come back and said he made up the reasons for the rule that didn't exist for why he never confirmed or even gave a hearing to Judge Garland, and he sat in purgatory for 9 months. So why in the world would the Democrats think the Republicans or the president would collaborate in any good faith after all of that?
The president's made it very clear
Trish,
he wants to actually work with the Democrats
take a step forward.
on this one.
And then he's brought a step forward.
So I think, by the way, Ned, you know, this is just one more thing. Come 2018, if they are seen as obstructionists, I don't think it gets you anywhere.
Works pretty well for the Republicans over the last 3 or 4 years. It worked very well for them.
Excuse me, sir. John Rowley.
Schumer, I think,
your name's not Ned.
A very critical political mistake here, because guess what? I think what happens today, he gets through Judiciary Committee, Gorsuch does. I think tomorrow morning, Mitch McConnell goes and files for cloture. That'll be 3 days, about 30 hours of debate. That vote will be sometime on Thursday. I think the chair will then say we don't need this process. And then we go what I like to call the constitutional option, because where in the Constitution, Trish, do we have it say that we have to have 60 votes for judges? Treaties, budgets, yes. Judges, no. Guess what? Elections have consequences.
All right.
And here's the deal. This is Scalia for Scalia. The next fight is the big fight. Now that the nuclear option will be out of the way, when Ginsburg or Kennedy vacates a seat, which I think might happen this summer, there will be no big fight. It'll just be a simple majority vote. And here's the deal. I think Trump will probably get 2, maybe 3 more SCOTUS nominations. This could completely change the complexion of SCOTUS for 30 years.
It's amazing. He may have a very
That's how
big
you break
impact
apart
indeed.
the administrative state.
All right.
You put Supreme Court justices who are originalists.
Gotcha. Ned, John, good to see you guys.